Good afternoon. It's 1:40 Central Standard Time. I think 7:40. I don't know what time it is in this UK, but it's
6:40 at the minute.
6:40 because that's right. They had a time shift apparently.
Yeah.
So it's all good. So welcome to the Across the Pondcast, the best podcast you never heard of, with Sam and Matt. As you can see in the middle, we have a special guest. We have Troy from What Gear Reviews. How are you, sir? Welcome, and thanks for joining us today.
I'm good, thank you. Good. What number podcast is this one?
I think it's episode like maybe 18, 17 or 18 or so. So I tried to number them, but I don't actually put numbers on the episode titles because StreamYard and it kind of does it for us. So it's pretty good. So I don't know. It's about 16 or 17 now.
So it's the world's first 17th Across the Pondcast.
Absolutely. Or 18th. Close enough for government work. We don't know. So it's all good. So we're glad you could join us today. And we know we're streaming a little earlier than normal because one of our other friends of the show is getting married today, Andrew, and he's streaming it on his Twitch channel, and it was going to start at 3:00, which is when our stream would start. So we want to make sure that we don't have interrupt with that, and we want to actually be involved in watching it. So we were glad you can adjust your schedule accordingly.
No problem.
So, how are things going? What are you up to? What are you reviewing? What are you playing? What is Troy doing?
Well, he was playing Call of Duty before we called him away.
Oh. Yeah, getting my ass kicked as usual, but keeping with it. Yeah, I mean, in terms of tech reviews, recently I've been getting quite a few sponsored gigs. Normally, I just kind of do whatever I feel like. Right. But recently, few sponsors have been reaching out. It's been quite promising. To be honest, this has been the first year where sponsors have been coming to me. I've really been chasing tech companies down up until now, which is nice, but then it kind of, you lose some of the control as to what you would normally do because now you've been paid to do something else, which is fine because the products that they send me are pretty awesome. So, I mean, the last thing I looked at was the Huawei MateBook 14. This thing.
Oh yeah, that's nice. And just from the look of it, it looks really sharp and really sleek and kind of clean. I like the look of it.
Yeah, it's a good computer, and they don't have any issues with the sort of America ban with their PCs, so that's a good thing.
Good.
Also got some smart lights in here and stuff.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So now with those smart lights, are they controlled with your phone, or is there a dial, or how do you change the temperature and the colors of the lights?
Yeah, so it's a new startup actually called Hey, I'm Home.
Okay.
So you got this app.
Oh, cool.
The idea of it, I guess, is to, you can buy bulbs and light strips and door sensors and all this from different companies. They've got it all in one place on one app. So they're kind of trying to put everything together and make it easier to use. So I did a sponsored video for them recently.
Okay.
Hope they do well. But they've literally just started. But it's good. The app controls everything. I don't know if you see that.
Yeah, it's a little bright, but yeah, I can see like got a good light there. Yeah, it's and I like having the ability to have a startup and have everybody jump in. That's kind of pretty cool. That's kind of nice.
See if we can do the light change. There's a lamp to the right hand side of me here. Let me see if I can adjust it. Anyway,
that's cool.
I'll do it later.
That sounds good.
It's okay. We're good at audio podcasts anyway, so it's fine.
So that's pretty cool. So yeah, and we noticed you're rocking the looks like the Samsung there. So what is that? Your usually daily driver? I mean, how do you what phones do you usually use, and do you daily drive and that kind of thing?
So if I get review phones, I always put my SIM in them if possible. This is my contract phone, and actually my sister works for a big phone company here in the UK, so I get discounts on the contracts.
Cool.
The contract on this is ridiculously expensive, but I got a discount, so this is what I got. This is my actual phone.
Okay.
But this is the last phone I was using before.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Pro, and then the Sony's as well. So I switch between them, but that's my main one.
Cool. So, what did you think of the Mi 10T? I mean, it looks like a pretty nice phone. I mean, I've had the only Xiaomi phone I've ever owned in the U.S. is I had a Mi Mix 3, had the little slider, and that was actually like the phone. The software was pretty cool, and the phone itself was really neat. I liked having that slider. It was kind of a neat kind of a neat look to show people, especially considering that nobody even knows what Xiaomi is in the United States.
I think it's like that in the UK as well. Not many people that familiar with it.
We know. We tech nerds know how cheap and good their phones are.
This has got fantastic camera, really good screen, except it's not got the OLED. That's the only thing that everybody kind of criticizes it for. But I think anybody who's never had an OLED, if they went onto this phone, they wouldn't miss. Well, of course they wouldn't miss it, but they wouldn't be disappointed with this phone. Definitely not. And the fingerprint reader is fast. You know, some of these side mounting ones sometimes they're quite bad. This one's very good.
Well, speaking of that, I've been using in displays for most of this year, but the two phones I've got running at the minute both have side mounted, and it's nice to actually be able to get into my phone without sitting there sort of trying.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because like I said, and that's what the thing too is, now that I've got the Duo, it's got the side mounted just like that too. So that I've kind of gotten used to using it and that kind of thing. So it's pretty nice. I like having a physical side mounted, because when you pick up a phone, like when I pick up my Duo, my thumb's right there, and even when I open it up, my thumb's right there either, and it just opens up. I kind of like that instead of an in display. Just not a big fan of them. It's never works as good and never as reliable.
Yeah.
That's definitely true.
This one's all right. As long as your hands are dry, it's pretty good. I mean, there's two different types, isn't there? There's the Qualcomm one.
Yeah.
And then there's the optical ones. The Qualcomm one seems to be pretty reliable now.
I think Realme's under display scanners are quick. I had the X2 Pro, and that thing was just, I put a clip on Twitter, and it was just instant every time. It was a bit weird.
I do like the Realme devices.
Yeah. Well, this is off the Realme X50 at the minute, so got it yesterday. This is the first thing I've done with it.
Oh, okay. Did you actually? I thought you actually used it yesterday, or no, not really.
No. I was using the Note yesterday. I switched to the Poco today.
How you finding the X3?
It surprised me. It's actually a really good phone. So far, I'm impressed with the battery life though, because I've been using this thing for all day. I've got like 4 hours screen on time at the minute with 50% battery left. So I'm pretty happy with it. I've got to put it through its paces a little bit more, but after a first day, I'm enjoying it for what it like for the price you pay for it. It's ridiculous. I got that for £170.
It's an awesome deal. I've got the F2 Pro, which I use for my work phone. Solid phone, so well built and everything. And I don't mind the pop-up camera either. I know a lot of people don't like the mechanical pop-up cameras, but for me, I think it's a good feature, because you don't have any intrusion on the screen. You know, it's a good feature, right. But I think it's really well implemented on that one.
I prefer the pop-ups. I think personally, I prefer the screen on the OnePlus 7 Pro to the 8, just because it's clean and there's no interruptions or anything like that. Yeah.
So I don't know. I like the pop-up. I kind of like the way I did like the slider mechanism of the Mi Mix 3. I thought it was kind of cool. Right. It was, I guess, if anything, it was kind of like a weird kind of technological fidget spinner. So I'd just be like, click, 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 click. I'd be sitting at my desk and taking phone calls and just kind of playing.
It's kind of why I want the LG Wing. Just
yeah. And then did you see the video between him and I think it was Dave Immel and the Unlocker? They were actually using the Wing to playing
ping pong. Yes, I mean, I saw that.
Yeah, I mean, luckily a ping pong ball has no density at all. It's basically nothing, so you're not going to damage it. But it's kind of cool watching them
funny though.
Park bench and just kind of like playing ping pong with it, and actually making some pretty good shots with the face
with
of it.
LG Wings.
With LG Wings, yeah, you don't need ping pong paddles. Use a $900 phone to do it with. But yeah, it was kind of cool to watch them. That I think is, well, you know me, I'm into any kind of new form factor now. I'm kind of that's part of the draw to the Duo, obviously, because I'm a Microsoft fan. I'm an old dispossessed Windows phone user, so anything that they did, I was going to kind of jump on board. And I think I was okay being an early adopter. And so far, it's been pretty good. I got the 0 day, and then I got the October update. It's really, really smooth. I really don't have any more problems. The call dropping stopped, and it still does have a problem with orientation. I think that's the major problem with it. When you're turning it or moving it, it kind of gets a little like, I don't know which way you are. And the transitions are a little kind of slow and a little bit disconnected. But other than that, I mean, using it as a phone, and people are like surprised I'm even daily driving it.
I was really looking forward to using it.
I know, man. That whole thing is it's just so disappointing. I
know. It was literally 2 hours away from me. And then FedEx just gave me a big proverbial fuck you. You're not having it. We're going to keep it and charge you £312 to release it. Like,
did you import it then?
No, a friend sent it over to me. It was from the USA, yeah. A friend sent it for me to test and then send it back, but I've never seen an import charge that high. That was insane.
Yeah.
But we was talking before the stream. I want to hear the Sony story. Because you used to work for Sony, and I want to know the origin story and how you went from Sony to doing what you're doing now.
Absolutely. I'm love to hear this. When I heard about that, I was like, oh, I can't wait to hear this story. I'm so looking forward to hearing how this goes.
Okay, so I guess I used to. This is before even Sony, right? I used to work in a computer game shop. Do you remember Game? They shut loads of them down now.
They did.
So before that, I was doing some TV and film stuff as well, right? So I've been on some big films. But anyway, I thought I better get a proper job now because got made redundant at Game, so I had to go full time doing something. So I applied for this job, working for Sony, just doing sort of like a store ambassador for them. And at the time, actually, this was when they were still selling laptops, the Vio laptops. You remember those?
I remember those.
They were good. I mean, they were solid computers, but they just weren't making the business much money. But anyway, that's what I was promoting. And so in-house, we would have all this kind of, we'd go to the Sony headquarters and they would do product training. So we'd know all of the kind of stuff you need to know in order to make a review. But that hadn't crossed my mind yet. So at that point, it was just part of the job. Then they released a 2-in-1 computer, the TAP 11, I think it was called. And there was an internal competition. Whoever could do the best sales training video on this particular PC would win one. And it was about $1,000's worth of kit at the time. So I don't know. At that point, I didn't know anything about video editing or anything like that. So I called my mate Charlie, who had a camera. He told me he had a camera. He showed up with this busted up, worst camera you've ever seen. And the worst thing was, I was like, right, so this is $1,000's worth of kit. If we win it, we'll split the money. We could afford to hire a little sort of photography studio and film this video and really try and be professional with it. So he showed up with a busted camera. I had my script, which was far too long and really boring. And I even bought the computer for the video and then returned it after we'd done the video. Of course. And we won the thing in the end. So, and then what happened then was the video actually did really well, quite well on YouTube. And I thought, wow, I'm onto something here. So I started doing some more stuff. And that's kind of how it started with the YouTube channel. I never really took it serious for a couple of years. And then I started, like, in the beginning, no one really gave me any advice that was useful. I just thought I'd just try to do my own thing. So I tried to do like gaming videos, which failed horribly. I did 360 VR videos, which failed horribly. I even did a road trip to Germany to the Gamescom and missed a flight on the way there. And we sort of vlogged the entire journey to Cologne to the Gamescom. And those videos flopped too. Yeah, I've done airsoft videos that kind of flopped as well. I tried a lot of stuff before I figured out a kind of path, which was a couple of years ago, and really started to focus specifically on phones and headphones mainly. Yeah, so it's been a long journey.
It's been a bit of a long journey. Do you still have communication with Sony and work with them? And
Yeah, they still look after me. I kind of so basically, when I was working for them, they kept moving me around to different places, and one of the places that I worked for was Harrods in central London, which is one of the most sort of prominent retail stores. Funny story, when I worked there for Sony, I actually got escorted out. I got kicked out of Harrods and escorted out of the building by the staff. But I didn't get fired from Sony. They gave me another job in another place on Oxford Street.
Cool.
It's a long story, that one.
Well, at least at least you didn't get fired, just moved.
Yeah. Do you know what? The week before they kicked me out, I won. I rightfully won the Harrods Award for Excellence.
Perfect. And then he walked you out the door.
Yeah.
Well, maybe carriage out. Maybe
I upset
some guy go
people that have been there for a long time.
Yeah. So that's good. Nothing better getting walked out of a shop like that, especially the week before being like one of their top men. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But do you know I won? Because this is how I won that, right? It was really, really easy. A friend of mine just started at Harrods, and I came into the Harrods one morning and there was a bunch of leaflets by the front door, which was nominate someone for the Harrods Award for Excellence. So I said to my friend, he just started and he was working directly for Harrods, not for concessions like I was. I said to him, do you want to win this thing? He said, no, I don't want to get involved in that. I said, well, if you do, let's just grab all of those leaflets, go around Harrods Technology and get everybody to vote for you. He's like, no. So I said, if you're not going to do it, then I'm going to do it. So I did. And then I got kicked out. I upset people.
What are you going to do? Well, at least, hey, that sounds like a good idea. Heck, I might have done that too, just because I'm like, hey, I get all these leaflets. It's like 100 of them. Let me see if I can goose the system.
Fuck it, let's go.
Goose the system.
Yeah, cool. Fuck it. Why not?
Yeah, why not? But they didn't put my face in the book. They've got an official book of legends, Harrods Book of Legends, but I didn't make it.
Wow. They have a book called the Book of Legends. That's almost awesome in and of itself.
I should be in there. I should be in
that Book of Legends.
I'm a legend, goddammit.
Yeah. They didn't like it when a lot of the people that have been there a long time didn't like the fact that I did that, because I kind of did something that they hadn't done in like ever. How did this guy do it? It was easy. Right.
Just got to think outside the box a little bit. Yeah. So what are you gonna
how dare he show us up like that? We'll get him fired. Yeah. It's all right.
Funny. It was good fun working in Harrods Technology, though.
Oh, really? So
it's nice to move around a bit, because staying in one place can be a bit like.
It was a hard job there, though, because like the super wealthy people, when it comes to tech, they don't want anything other than the latest and best thing. So at the time, LG were the only company that had OLED TVs, and they were just flying off the shelves. Anything that was LED, it was like second rate.
I mean, yes, you could. So I guess that's one of those things when you have customers who expect it to be there, and if like something's out of stock, it's like, well, you can either order it or you can go to the LED. And they're like, yeah, I'm not going to that. That's the peasant TV. I'm here for the OLEDs, not for that stuff. That's so last year.
Yeah, that's the problem. We're working in certain places, especially when you got certain areas, because it doesn't matter what you say. They know what they want, because they're just going to spend the money that they've got.
Yeah, I sold a 25 grand Sony TV to one dude once. Massive 84-inch. It was 4K. It wasn't OLED, but it had like the that LED tech where they could light different zones, so it's not so they could dip the colors to almost pitch black.
Oh, was that the edge lit?
Yeah, it was a full array.
Oh, the full array. Yeah,
expensive bit of kit that was.
25 grand,
100% guarantee you now it's going for like 300 quid on eBay.
I'd have one of those.
So that's cool. So and you said you're using a new camera for your video right now. So like, how did were you going to use that, or is it just how did that happen, and how have you liked it so far as a setup? It looks fantastic as far as the quality.
It's the Sony ZV-1, which is the camera. It's basically an RX camera, which has been tweaked for vlogging specifically. I bought it earlier this year, thinking that I was going to go to loads of tech events like the IFA and the MWC and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
Because it's
How
the
silly
perfect
of you.
camera. It's the perfect camera to carry around with you on like a tripod, and it's got good stabilization and good sort of. You can flip the screen all the way around now. So, but yeah, it hasn't seen much use.
Yeah.
Not
kind
yet.
of. Yeah, we've had some issues going on. I don't know if you haven't gotten the memo, but yeah, 2020 got a little weird. So that's unfortunate. For I think a lot of people had bought equipment and kind of had like what they were going to do for
the
2020.
thing is, it will get used eventually. Like, this is not.
Yeah.
Like certain parts of the UK aren't currently under major restrictions.
Yeah.
Where I live is not. Where I live, we're all right.
What
Yeah,
level are you on?
we're tier 2. Yeah.
Level 2.
So-
but what does that even mean?
I don't know. All I know is when we get to level 3, we're fucked.
Yeah. Not allowed to do anything.
Well, then
Right.
I think I was reading a story, or at least I came across a story that there's one mayor of a city who him and Boris are kind of going at it because Boris wants
Manchester.
to institute Manchester. Yeah, that's kind of interesting how a mayor's like, yeah, they're not doing that. And it's like how he's basically going against.
Oh, they've done
the
it.
federal-
Boris made them. They've done it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they want special treatment because I don't know what the reason is.
Because
but
they're
I think
Manchester.
Boris's argument is, we deal with you the same as all the other cities. So like, they wanted some kind of special compensation for their restaurants and whatever.
Awesomeness. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. No one gets special treatment if you go in. If you're tier 3, you're tier 3, whatever that means. But there you go.
And apparently ours says Scotland has 5 tiers.
Yeah,
I don't know.
System.
Yeah, even though we're all the UK, we're all different. Currently, Wales and Ireland are actually in national lockdown. So, but we're not. So it's fucked up.
I
don't know if it's the idea is that if they lock down for 2 weeks, they can slow down the spread, and in the long term, it'll be better. And then Boris's thing is
No
zones.
Yeah,
Let's put
he's
it into
zoning.
zones. The thing is, if I drive now to Manchester, then back to London again, there's nothing to stop me doing that right now.
Nope. So these cities are in lockdown, but there's no cordons, there's no police blockades, there's no army on this, like nothing like the National Guard would. If a state went into lockdown, National Guard would patrol the roads and make sure no one could get in and out. But here, they're in lockdown, but you can still go. There's just nothing to do, and then you can come back. So I just don't get it.
Yeah. So I guess the United States is back on the trending upward. I think they said 80,000 positive cases. So, so, what are you going to do? Right.
Borat's fault.
Yeah. It's actually, matter of fact,
Borat movie.
I did
Borat,
watch
I have not seen that yet, so no spoilers.
No, I watched it and I have to say it's okay, but it's kind of trying to capture
Original's
the first one.
always better. We all know
it's
this. The
it's
original's
okay.
always better, but a sequel's still funny.
Yeah,
It is
it's still
funny.
pretty good. So yeah, so apparently they got 5. Scotland's special, they have 5, or just they decided to have a couple extra tiers. And maybe it's easier to figure out what the hell those tiers mean if you've got 5 instead of 3. I don't know. We don't have any such system here in the US. So saying track and trace is a mandatory and majority of the people are not using it. It's a proper mess. Yeah, well.
There's a certain amount of I don't want to download that because I don't want the government tracking my location 24 hours a day. I get that.
Right, exactly. And then we got TK. TK's in the house. Welcome, TK. How are you, sir? Good. Well, from joining us. So
I met TK at a Qualcomm event once. He probably doesn't remember me, but it was in Hawaii last year, I think.
Oh, okay. I'm sure he remembers it.
I'm sure he remembers going away to Hawaii. To Hawaii? To
Hawaii? Whatever, man.
Never
Jeez.
mind.
Why do you try? It's
I
just like
don't
words.
know. Fuck you. Forget it.
Yeah, it's
Forget
all
it.
good.
They went to Huawei, and that was it.
Yeah. So apparently Huawei has a Maui. I guess they've moved their headquarters to Maui. So that's cool. Or Oahu, wherever. I don't know where it's
Last year. Yeah, TK says last year.
Yeah.
So yeah, and
Okay.
yeah, so he's one of our I guess you call it. He definitely gave us inspiration, or gave me inspiration between watching him and seeing what he's doing. Now, clearly, obviously, I'm not at the same level. I'm definitely he's in the
Nope.
Premier League, and I'm in the not
League.
Premier League. Champions is a
Conference
Champions
North.
So it's Premier, Champions.
Premiership, Championship, League One, League Two, Conference South, North, East, whatever the fucking hell they are. Yeah.
He's got that killer beard, isn't he? That most iconic beard.
Oh God, hell yeah!
Mm-hmm. It's the iconic beard that guides him through Warzone.
Which
is another thing we do. We play Warzone with TK, and thank God I have him as backup because I'm not Sam. I'm not saying you're bad, but
no, I'm bad. Not bad at it. No, I don't even care. I mean, I'm not very good at it. Now, I got better at Plunder. Now, I like that.
Oh, yeah.
But this zombie thing is lame. I can't get behind it. It sucks. And I'm not. And it's just.
I enjoy
I'm not
it,
very good.
but I don't play it. I only play the zombie mode when I fancy a bit of fun. A bit of zombie killing, running around. I'm not bothered about winning anything because it doesn't go on your win-lose stats anyway. So. But mostly I like the trick or trios. That's good.
You have to add me on that. Then. Would you guys play on PlayStation or Xbox?
We're PS4. TK's PC.
Yeah. So I play that.
When you play with TK, you have to play in the mixed lobbies.
Oh no, because I host it, so it generally pairs us up with the PS4 players. Because the last time I played with somebody on PC hosting, never again. When you're in with a bunch of PC players, it's ridiculous.
It's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah,
because they've got
you can't do what they can do.
They've got like the widescreen monitors and everything like that. It's got to be a massive advantage, isn't it?
Do you hate getting drop shots? Like when you're shooting somebody and they drop shot you, and you're like,
I hate that.
God's sake.
Are you going to get a PlayStation 5 or Xbox?
I've got one on pre-order. It's coming on the 19th. Yeah.
Missed the pre-orders.
Yeah.
I saw you guys
pre-order
doing
anything.
Giveaway. You guys are doing a giveaway.
Yeah, with Extreme Skins. Yeah. Our current spot is above my head. Wait, this side. There we go.
That's Extreme Skins. And I think Troy.
Oh, Troy! This is a complete coincidence. We have a natural fan of Extreme Skins. He has an Extreme Skins on his phone, his daily phone.
You. So before I got this case, which is a Pataka case, which I love,
We're not taking sides.
I love that brush. That brushed metal is awesome. That's a great look.
It is so good.
That's really good.
I think this part is the biggest concern for me here because there's so much glass on that, and that's definitely going to get scratched no matter what case you put.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's good, and you can
nice application as well.
It's clean.
Yeah, I've done a few of these in the past. You can have the contrasting colors as well, so you can get a different color here and different color here.
Yeah,
that's what I had on my Note 10. I think I had light blue on the body.
I have just got PS4 skins. I've just got some new PS4 skins for mine, and I'm gonna get this week some for the X50 and the Poco and what have you. So I'll be showing them off.
I think they're the only company that do skins for the Xperia 1 as well, as far as I know, because I actually got an Xperia 1 Mark II and finding a good case for it is a nightmare, but Extreme Skins do skins for the Xperia 1 Mark II. I think and
pre-orders are on for the 5 Mark II.
Oh, nice. I got the 5 Mark II here.
Cool.
Damn it, wrong phone. There we go. Ooh, jealous. There's some jealous people about to pop up in the chat, I think.
Yeah, that's sharp. I like that. I like the size of it. It looks really sharp. I wish I could get my hands on one, but I'm phoned out. So
I'll get one when it
my
comes
question
out. It doesn't come out till December though, which is weird.
It's a beautiful phone. Beautiful phone.
So do you like the 1 Mark II or the 5 Mark II better? Like, what are your opinions on both phones? I'm curious.
You know what? The size of this is really, really nice. I'm so used to using these massive notes and stuff like that. And to have a phone that actually is really comfortable to hold, and you can reach literally my thumb. Can you see that? My
all the way to the other side. Yeah.
I can even touch my fingers together. It's a big deal.
It is.
Ease of use on this is for sure better. For gaming, I think this is better than the Xperia 1. But the Xperia 1's got the better camera, more pixel dense screen, better colors. It's a trade-off. They're both good in their own ways.
It's depending on what you want particular. If you want better screen, you want better cameras, and yeah, I get what you mean because I have sized phones. I use different sized phones all the time. The ROG3 was the biggest phone.
Yeah,
because that's just a beast. But then I had the Pixel 5 alongside it. So going from the ROG to use the Pixel 5 the next day was weird because the Pixel 5 is really small. But that's had to go back to Google because it has a gap between the body and the screen.
Oh, no. So.
Yeah, he had the gap gate.
Yeah, me and 250 other people.
Who makes those phones now? Is it LG still, or who's the manufacturer for the Pixels?
I don't know. I think it's Google. Do Google manufacture their own phones yet? I'm not sure.
I would think so. I don't know, but I know there was a while there they had HTC was doing them, and then
the
LG had versions of
the
them.
Google forums and everywhere is filled with people sending pictures of this gap that's appearing between the metal body and the glass screen. So Google are investigating it at the minute.
Yeah,
but mine's had to go back. So
yeah, ER says that Pixel 5 is being made by Foxconn.
Foxconn, yeah.
So there you go. So good, yeah. And they're also making iPhones. Speaking of iPhone, my
not
wife
very
finally...
well apparently.
Well, I mean,
as it turns out.
And here's the thing.
I think to be fair to them, I think it's because it's the first metal-bodied phone that's got to have a hole in it, and it's got to have this plastic layer to allow for wireless charging, and there's all sorts of bits and bobs that have got to go into that. It's not just a metal back.
Right.
They've had to do all sorts of wizardry and trickery to get the wireless charging in. So I think somewhere along the line there was a slight issue, but personally I think it's going to be easily fixable by them. It was just something that slipped through the line.
What do you think of them not going for the top tier flagship market this year?
Personally, for Google, I think that's a really good idea.
I think that's what they should have stayed anyway.
Yeah, because these Google phones that are that price selling and more appealing to anybody else. Because the Pixel 4 XL was 1,000 and it didn't sell very well at all. But the 3A, the 4A, and then now we've got the 4A 5G, the 5. Yeah. And then the Pixel 5 is the flagship of Google's phones. But I think personally, I really like the fact that they've gone that direction. Lower price, the 765G is no joke. Like, what do you need? What do you need an 865 plus or an 865 for anyway? If you're just a normal person.
Noises. I hope it's not being picked.
No, you're fine. It's okay.
Dogs are welcome.
Dogs are welcome. Kids are welcome. You know, also barn fires and the fire brigade. That's welcome too.
That happened once. Well, obviously, it only happened once because the barn burnt down. But still, I had to abandon the stream halfway through
because the fire brigade made them evacuate.
Because there was a fire outside my house.
No.
You know what's funny? Now that I've done this stream with Matt, I noticed now that I'm interchanging British terms that I normally wouldn't. I actually said to a friend the other day, I said, yeah, man, it only costs like 150 quid. He's like, what? I said, oh, that's 150 bucks. Right. I even noticed I even like texting like 150. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Because these people think I'm insane. Well, first of all, and then I'm like, now I said fire brigade, knowing that it's not what I called it's a fire department, right? But I knew we were talking about his barn in the UK, so I've started to kind of interchange British terminology.
Good. So does that mean that you call hand egg?
No, it's football. No,
and soccer football, because soccer is football and football is hand egg.
No, it's because we have American football and we can't just call it American football because it's dopey when you're American. So we have to have the two words.
We're not going into this again because it's a sport you don't play with your feet that's called football. So we'll just leave it there.
They kick it. They do kick it.
Not very often.
Well, we punt and there's some
The
kicks.
goalkeeper in football picks up the ball. We're not going to call it handball, are we?
Yeah.
No, you can't. So I honestly think when it came to the Pixel, I think Google was so caught off guard with how well the 3A moved. I think they thought, I think they were like, whoa, wait a minute. We are making the 3A and we really can move a lot of these units. So I think that's what really drove the 4A and then they're adding the 5G. But I think honestly.
But the 4A 5G was a mistake.
Well, I guess. I mean, I would buy the 5G just because for me where I live, 5G is not a thing.
It should have been one or the other. It should have been the 4A with 5G or the 4A 5G at a bigger form factor because the Pixel 5 is the smaller one. So now the big price difference between the 4A 5G and the 5 with the minimal actual difference in hardware it's a tough sell for people who want a Pixel phone.
Out there in the States, you guys have got millimeter wave 5G, haven't you? It's like a different. We've got sub-6 mainly, I think, in the UK.
Well, that's if all the towers haven't been burnt down again. But,
absolutely, yeah. So, we have both, but I mean, where I live in a kind of a more rural part of where I live. So it's 5G is not a thing. Yeah, it's basically.
You live in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. That's
but I mean, when I think of rural, I have like dairy farms and stuff, and I'm not that far. I mean, it's not that bad. But I mean, a 5G deployment for where I'm at is not going to be happening anytime soon. So really, for me at this time, 5G is not a consideration.
Because you're still running. I mean, is they still struggle to get fast internet connection to you? Never mind 5G. Yeah,
so they just got to run the fiber out here. But my buddy who lives not too far from here in a subdivision that's close to me, about 5 miles or so, has high speed. So it's just a matter of running the fiber. Whereas you don't have to run fiber if you have a 5G tower, it's building the tower. So I think the 5G deployment will happen eventually, like 4G and LTE would be. But I'm not. It's not a driver for me.
I've got a 5G tower around the corner from me now.
They're gonna burn it down though.
Is there birds dying in your area? Birds. There's a lot of conspiracy theories.
Oh God, yeah.
5G masts. What do you make of that?
You can't control stupid. That's all I can say. I see these people protesting, and I see these people on the news burning down towers and saying, "Oh, 5G is causing COVID. 5G is doing this, that, and the other thing." You're like, "Oh my God, where do these people come from?" Like they just spring out of the ground and go, "Here I am." Okay, where have you been for the past 5 years?
A rock.
No, it's all the same people that when 4G went up.
Yeah,
and then they're all just climbed out from under their rocks again. It's stupid. Just let them put 5G up. They're already struggling as it is because they've had to take out all of Huawei's infrastructure, which was already there. So we've already delayed that because of that.
And then I think Sweden just announced the other day that they're pulling their 5G. They're not allowing Huawei into Sweden, right? And
so who's got any proof?
I don't know. Somebody.
Trump's throwing these things around, signed a banning order. Nobody's actually seen any evidence of what he's saying.
But nobody needs evidence, right? And I don't think anybody at this point.
Oh, no, we need evidence.
Anybody believes anything he says at this point.
No, so Huawei, look at Huawei P40 Pro, the new Mate.
Looks great.
Great phones, but suffering because
next week.
Oh yeah,
so somebody's said something, and now every country's like, "Oh my God!"
It's such a shame. Those phones are so good.
I used the P40 Pro, not the P40 Pro, the P40. I used the P40, and that petal search, the best thing that Huawei did was implement that, because now you can just download everything.
The problem is, for me anyway, is for here in the UK, there's no banking apps. That's a problem.
Yeah. There's no banking apps, and some apps struggle with notifications.
Yeah, and then for me as well, as a YouTube creator, micro influencer, I like to keep tabs on the channel through the YouTube Creator Studio,
which you can't do.
Non-existent, and I'm not interested in hacking the device to get that stuff on there. It kind of opens the door to too many risks on the phone. So it's such a shame. I would have happily used that phone for most of the year if I could have done those things, you know.
Yeah, it is a shame. It's and the problem is it's Samsung that's releasing the phones, picking up all the scrap, unfortunately, because their cheap phones aren't. They're especially here because we get Exynos, but what can we do about that? Like the Note 20 Ultra in the US got a whole bump up to the 865 Plus. We got nothing.
Exynos,
we got the same chip that was in the S20.
I know. It's disappointing.
And it just goes to show you that as a policy, as far as the reason why you would ban Huawei, then by that extension, you would think they would ban Xiaomi, they would ban OnePlus, anything that's from the Chinese government, and they don't. It's because I don't think the administration understands really the complexity of what that is. It just Huawei happened to make infrastructure, and so did ZTE, so they just got the hammer because that was visible to the U.S. government.
If we started banning everybody who came out of China, there'd be no phone companies left.
Yeah, I mean, it's... And it just goes to show you that really I mean, if Edward Snowden didn't tell you that even the NSA and the U.S. government is good about diving and spying and everything else. So really, at this point, if you have any kind of online presence, you are susceptible and visible to any kind of message interception, any of that kind of stuff. So just live in a world where it's okay. It's just like, hey, if the U.S. government wants to know what you're doing, they're going to know what you're doing. Hell, they were spying on Angela Merkel, for Christ's sake. I mean, it's
for us, James Bond's outside. So
right, exactly. So I
was
just
in a James Bond movie once.
Oh, really?
I got killed by Bond. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Which one? Which one?
Skyfall.
I want to watch. I've seen that. Right. Okay. I'm going to go back and watch that. That's so cool.
I'll tell you how to find me. Right. So right at the end, when they're raiding Skyfall Lodge, and they set up all the traps like Home Alone. You know, it was booby trap. I'm the one with the balaclava and a machine gun. But when I'm dead, he pulls the balaclava off, and you see me for about a second. You'll have to pause at the right time.
Being in a James Bond film is something to be proud of.
Yeah,
even if you're like for a second,
I don't care.
That's good.
Because it's forever.
I nearly got burnt alive on the set as well.
That's not
nice.
that's
but knowing that means you met who did Skyfall? It's Daniel Craig, wasn't it?
Yeah. Judi Dench was there as well, right before she dies in the film.
Oh wow!
Spoiler alert!
Sorry.
I think a lot of people see Skyfall.
You should have seen it by now. If you haven't, it's your own fucking fault.
Right, we just basically blew it up for you, so I don't think that's going to kill the whole damn thing. But
IR 1980 says it's not James Bond outside; it's more like Johnny English.
Yeah,
that's true. That is true. I love the newest one. The newest one is amazing.
Do you know what? Funny story. I was in a Johnny English film as well.
Oh Jesus, man! This guy's all like a practical movie star here. Who knew, right?
It didn't quite work out on James Bond, so he went the comedy version of the same film.
Yeah, it works good.
They cut me out of that one though.
Yeah.
Was
that the first one or the second one? Was it the first or second? The second one's not that good anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah.
There's 3 now, I think.
Yeah, the third one's really good.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. And actually, I guess it's been like this for a while, but it seems like in 2020, at least in the back half, the last third quarter and fourth quarter, there are just so many phones. It's unbelievable. I mean, dude, I realize that probably in other years
blindfolded.
It's stupid.
That's what I mean. You could be blindfolded, throw a rock, and you'd hit a phone at the £600 mark. There's just so many, and this is why I love. When you're scrolling through Twitter or YouTube comments, people complaining that YouTubers aren't covering all these phones, and I'm like, there's literally 7 days in a week. It takes about 3 or 4 days easily to make and edit one video. There's no way they can cover every single phone that comes on the market, apart from probably the most demanded ones on their channel. Right. There's no point in covering a phone no one's going to watch.
Check these out. These two, I made a massive mistake with the YouTube channel recently, right? So Realme sent me these. This is the Realme 7 and the 7 Pro, right?
Okay.
And I thought I've hit the lottery here. I've got products before they've been released, and that's never really happened before. So I've never been able to do a video and push publish on the second they announce it. So I thought, this is it. It's the big time. I'm going to get some serious views.
I'm in. Yes.
This is the fatal mistake I made. And anybody who does tech YouTube videos and thinks about doing it, learn from this mistake. I didn't account for the fact that Techspert was going to do the exact same topic, same title, everything. ASBYT, Super SAF, Unbox Therapy had done a video, and the keyword I was going for was 7 versus 7 Pro. So what happened? I spent 5-6 hours making content on this. Flopped. A complete waste of time. What I should have done.
Realme don't normally get loads of traffic from the bigger creators either.
The thing is, they sent me X3 Super Zoom, right? So I thought I'll do a video testing out the super. They say it's super. Let's see how super it is. So I did this video, and it did really well. It's a semi-viral video. So they must have seen that and thought, let's send him these 2 phones because he'll get some good traffic. they didn't tell me they'd also sent them to these other guys as well. So what happened in the YouTube algorithm is when you've got channels like that have such good velocity off the mark, and you have a channel like mine that doesn't have that same history of having that velocity, they'll always promote the bigger channels. So
which is a problem.
My video, it doesn't matter if it was a good video or not, it just will not be seen because if someone searches that term, YouTube sees these videos as the best videos to serve that viewer.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Which is why I'm actually going to plug one subreddit here, which is why some gadget guy, Juan Carlos Bagnell, has a subreddit, r/glowing rectangles. And it's where people like us, fans, people who follow channels, share your videos in hopes they get traction and get shared by other people, get shared to, say, our Android and things like that. So I'm saying anybody that's seen any of these videos or anything like that, make sure you just share them, promote them, push them, put them on the Reddit. You know, I've put some of your videos on the Reddit.
I appreciate that.
It's literally just put it on, people upvote, people share, and it sort of tries to gain traction.
I think if I could go back to that point again, I would just do something completely different between the two phones that no one else really did, like a speed test or camera comparison, battery test side by side, something that people would search for but isn't really catered for by the big channels.
Right. Just enough of differentiation so that way when the search came up, it would segregate your searches. So it wouldn't be just here's about the phone. It's more like I want to know what this camera capability is. Oh, great. And this choice is up there. It's one of the first 2 or 3 that come up. Yeah, it's those lessons that we all learn, right? Yeah. I mean, luckily for us, we aren't trying to grow or trade or do anything. We just like to talk to people and have people on.
We talk shit anyway. So links in the chat.
Yeah,
Aditya, thanks for sharing the glowing rectangles.
I'll let you see it right there. So it's our glowing rectangles. Give it a shout and put content on there for anything. Even if it's for a creator that's somebody that maybe not many people would see.
Well, we had last week a guy with 708 subscribers, top of the weekly subreddit plug on Juan's stream on a Monday. Yeah. 708 subscribers, top of the Reddit.
Check that out.
It's definitely.
I watch Juan's content a lot because he's one of the guys that really covers the Sony stuff quite a bit, and quite a bit of my audience, they're into the Sony stuff as well. So I always like to watch his content. You guys get stuff way earlier than us out in the States, though. It's annoying sometimes. We're always waiting over here. We're always behind.
We waited over a month for the Pixel 4a, compared to the USA. But then again, was it the Xperia? We got the Mark II first.
Oh, did we? I had to actually buy that phone. You know that they wouldn't send it to me. Yeah, they wouldn't.
Well, now I guess why is that? Is it because they already sent you another phone, or is it they have a cap?
No.
I mean, what exactly? I guess they just didn't decide to.
From what I could see, they literally sent out about 3 review models to 3 of the big channels, and that was it. I didn't see anybody else put any UK guys put any content out other than those 3 channels. And I don't know whether that's on purpose. I don't know, but I don't know. I think sometimes Sony their marketing strategy isn't the best.
No,
little disconnected.
Not. Just a little bit, but as disconnected as LG's is. We don't get the pleasure of LG phones in this country. Not really.
We're pretty sure that Juan is their LG marketing department. Juan and TK do a pretty good job about pushing the content. Because they don't seem to have they don't have a real robust or really comprehensive marketing strategy, it seems like. Or if they do, I don't know what it is. I've never been able to figure it out. So it's pretty crazy because it's a shame because, I mean, LG is at least trying to do something different. I like the Wing just for the fact that it's something different. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, I just want something disruptive. I want something new. And the Fold. Well, I mean, you got that.
It's engineering in it. It's not very good as a phone, but it's a good engineering piece to show off what can be done. It's the Z Flip and the Motorola's as well. And then the Wing. And I'm even though I wouldn't personally use some of these, I am looking forward as a techno to seeing where it goes.
You know what I think about folding devices and all this kind of stuff? the first issue for me is the crease, and they're kind of improving that, right? The crease isn't as visible now when you open it. But the next problem and next thing they need to solve is the weight, the weight of the devices, because it's all good to have a massive screen like that, but if it's weighing the weight of 2 phones, it's not good. And I think the only way they can get around that is to have some kind of revolutionary battery tech upgrade, like graphene.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've seen the foldable tech hit that wall. It's there. It's where it's going to stay until the technology is available to make it better, which is probably when Apple will jump into the foldable game.
Yeah,
because they won't do that until there's something good enough to do it with.
Well, I had to give it to Apple. They're definitely going to make sure that they have the hardware and everything is clean and refined. As they're not going to be the ones going to put out there and put out something first gen like a Duo or like a Fold or like a Wing.
But the difference between first gen and then second first gen, if you know what I mean, like you've got the Motorola Razr, then you've got the Razr 5G. There's actual differences. There's physical differences between the two phones. In the new Motorola Razr 5G. The screen now slides slightly under the screen when you fold it to reduce the crease, whereas the first one didn't. It's now a matte finish, and it's now got better cameras and this, that, and the other, and the back's not plastic anymore, it's glass. It's like, but that's the same phone. This is still the first gen, but it's just a 5G version.
Yeah. And so, some refinements. And I like R's comment here. He said, like, when it comes to the folding devices, it'll be interesting seeing how Apple and Google approach. We've seen Samsung, Microsoft, LG, Motorola, Huawei show their approach. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I really think you're going to see, well, here's how it's going to go. You'll see if folding screen or dual screen or any kind of adaptable or different form factors, if Apple takes a hold of it, that's when it'll get traction. Then you know it's at least been on their radar. And once Apple fans see it, that's going to give them some like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool, because they know that if Apple's putting it out, there's probably a good chance it's been refined and ready to go.
Yeah, Apple are gonna. Did you not hear the news? Apple are going to invent 120 hertz screens next year.
That's
about 3 years.
They've just invented chargerless boxes. It's great.
You know, do they buy their panels from Samsung? Apple.
They do, but weren't they working with trying to make a deal with another company to get away from working with Samsung? I can't remember what the name of the company was, but I'm sure they were trying to get a contract with somebody else. But the iPhone 12 screens are Samsung panels. I know that.
Yeah, so they'll probably keep that connection there for when Samsung finally perfect it, and then they'll just jump in and do their own perfect version of a foldable.
Yeah, I mean, Apple are Apple. They sort of do things like everyone's taking the piss out of Apple now for the no charger in the box, but in a couple of years, none of us will have fucking chargers. Like,
I bet
I don't get the decision because, well, I understand their reasoning behind the decision, but effectively you're going to end up now making more boxes and plastic to ship out chargers because last gen, unless you've got a last gen charger, every other charger before that was USB-A, not USB-C to Lightning, which the new cable is in the box. So you're still going to have to buy a charger anyway.
Yeah, it's
true.
So
I don't get it.
They're moving towards the no ports on the phone.
The portless.
Oh, they'll go portless before they switch to USB-C, like they've been told by EU they have to.
Yeah, I reckon that's what's going to happen.
Well, yeah, yesterday.
That's what MagSafe. You've got all this new wireless, fast wireless. They'll get there.
Well, I can tell you, yesterday I finally talked my wife into upgrading her 8 Plus, so she got herself a 12. So she has the cool thing about AT&T was that 8 Plus was paid off, and they gave her $800 trade-in credit.
I can't believe you got $800 for an iPhone 8 Plus.
I thought it was a scam.
For a trade-in deal.
Another line. No. So I brought it in there. The guy said, okay, we only have the 256 gig iPhone 12. It's $949, but you're getting $800. So it wound up being $150, and they didn't have any of the 12 Pros at all. And I was like, that was my first actual hands-on with a 12. And I'm going to tell you, if I were going to take a swing on an iPhone, I think this would be the time I'd take a swing at it. I mean, I had the 8 Plus, and Becky's like, I don't really care. And the first thing she says is, well, what am I going to do about banking apps because I don't have the Touch ID? I said, honey, it's got Face ID. It's authenticates that way. She's like, are you sure? Because we have Bank of America. And I'm like, sweetheart, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no,
Yeah, well, everyone. The problem with iPhones is everybody now at the minute is wearing masks. So.
Oh yeah, I mean they're gonna have to get around that. But I mean the problem is,
I thought they'd bring Touch ID back for the 12s. I honestly thought they might, but no.
I'd like to see them do what they did on the iPads, which just put like what Troy's got on that phone is put it in the actual power button.
There.
Yeah, if that
Right
would give it a Touch ID inside the power button and also having Face ID as well.
It's dead easy. It's there. There's no messing about. It just opens the phone straight away.
Yep.
And that's it.
Just like that too.
Right.
Yep.
Just like that.
It's good when it works.
We've all got.
Absolutely.
What is it? Where is it?
Yeah, all have a fingerprint scanner on the side, and the funny thing is, so we were at another store doing some stuff, and I'm sitting there just responding to a tweet and looking at it, and some guy walks up and goes, "Hey, is that one of those new folds?"
Piss yellow.
No. I said no. I said, "Look, it's got a little Microsoft logo on it," and he's like, "Oh, it's
I think they're just taken back by the color of it, mate.
Yeah, it's I like it, so it's okay. But it's funny because I had yesterday, I was out in public, and I had literally
you were out in public.
A half dozen people look at this and go, "What is that?" Or they see the phone, and everybody was like, "Wow, they make phones like that." I was like,
everybody looks at them, but nobody buys them.
No, nobody's gonna buy it, and I don't expect anybody to. I don't expect
regular
people
who
to buy
want
this.
to can't.
Right, tech enthusiasts. So I guess Troy, my question is, if the Duo was available in the UK, and would you at least review it?
Or the Neo.
If
they sent it to me, I probably would. I'm not making enough money from the YouTube to go and buy too much stuff. I'm still recovering from the experience.
And it is expensive as well.
Right, that's not cheap either.
If they sent it to me, then yeah, absolutely, I'd definitely look at it. Definitely be something I'd want to try out. Yeah, for sure. I saw I think was it last year the IFA. I think it was an LG phone with the case. I think it was an LG phone where you could put the phone into the case, and the other half of the case had a screen as well.
Do you see how distant LG are from the UK?
Yeah.
The V60, the V50, the LG G8, and the G8X all have dual screens because I had the V50 sent me the V50 to use, and Sam sent me the G8X to use because we can't buy them here. Now, if you go on LG's UK website, all of a sudden, the LG V50 and all the V20, the V30, the V40, all of a sudden are all on the website. No idea why.
I've never had the chance to look at an LG phone.
But they're so good.
For review.
If you ever get a chance to get hands-on properly with a V phone or even the G8s or anything like that, do it. With the dual screen case, just do it because it is so good. And especially with you being a creator as well, it adds that little bit of more usefulness. That's me promoting LG. There we go. LG shill guy in the house.
Right. UK LG shill.
We're looking for that sponsorship.
Yeah. It's just a shame that, it's funny how people really have, and if you talk to them, people have really varying things on what they're looking for in phones. Someone in battery life, someone camera, someone this. And I'm glad that companies are now starting to get phones. And even Apple is now getting between the Mini and the 12 Pro and the 12 and the Max, and then the iPhone SE, finding that all across their spectrum of device price points, they are finding devices that match.
Every company has a phone at every price now. You can't, like Apple was the last one standing. Just flagships. Now every company you can literally, you've got the pick of the lot, but some are better than others. But then the ones like Xiaomi's and Oppos and stuff like that are better than the Samsung FEs and stuff won't see the day of light because nobody will promote them.
Yeah, and I like this comment back
because they're not Samsung and they're not Apple. You know
right, and I love this comment by BR. I think LG are missing a golden opportunity in the UK due to Huawei's gap. Yeah, that vacuum. If LG would have came in strong and kicked the door off, they could really establish.
Well, I agree with that in a way because obviously I was in the UK. I do agree with that in a way, but we also have access to the Xiaomi's, to the Realme's, to the Oppos. You know, like the US would have a massive gap if LG weren't there. But LG not being here, we still got all these other companies that certain countries don't get access to.
Yeah,
so it'd still be hard for LG to re-enter the market as if they'd not left at all.
I think Realme, Oppo, there's another one which are pushing this year because they reached out to me about doing a long-term campaign. I think it was ZTE. I think it was.
Okay.
Well, we've got the ZTE Blue and all sorts, haven't they?
But they're making like a marketing push here in the UK, these companies. They're saying that Huawei are still, they're not giving up efforts here in the UK. I think on Tuesday, I'm going to see the new Mate phone.
Right.
And they've set up some kind of COVID safe press event. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but it's going to be interesting to see.
Sure.
You got to stand 6 feet away from the phone.
But I know what's going to happen, but I don't know if I'm allowed to say. But
yeah, don't say anything that might get you in trouble.
Yeah, the phone will have a mask on it. The phone will actually be wearing a mask.
We'll share everything that you post and stuff like that. But
absolutely.
All like the UK is still getting marketing ads on YouTube TV. We're getting UK creators have the Mates already.
It'd be interesting to know how it's going to sell, how well it's going to sell here, because I think it's a big compromise to not have. I mean, now you've got the Huawei Maps. That's a good thing. You got the email.
Yeah. The biggest problem, like you said, though, is what you see 85% of people have banking apps on their phone, use NFC. They use the contactless to pay with their phones, their watches. They can't do any of that if they have a Huawei phone. Because the guys in the US can't believe it, but contactless payment, especially with phones and watches here, is fucking, most people pay with their phone and their watch. Just boop, done, off they go.
Right.
So it's more of a hard sell in a country that's full of people that use their phones to pay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
it's
for
true.
sure.
It's something you use, quite a few times a week. As soon as you don't have it, then you miss it.
Yeah.
So it's a problem.
It's not just that; it's just getting into the banking app, sending money, moving money. Your PayPal's and stuff like that. You can't do any of that. So it's whether you're willing to give up the new way of banking and go back to the old way.
And I'm curious to see, because we are, about 9 or 10 days away from an election here in the United States, and if we have an administration shift, my question is going to be if
hopefully,
Biden wins,
your president isn't just affecting your country. Your president is fucking us up for us all.
Right. Well, I mean, and here's the thing. That's the problem too. And that shows you either the influence of the United States, which it shouldn't be, but it does. And then, like I said, it should be one of those things where it's interesting how the United States still at this point, even with globalization, how their influence has kind of waned over the probably last 50 years. How they still can throw as much of a wrench in that. Like, he makes this thing for Huawei and it throws all sorts of other shit downstream into a kind of a mess.
Because it wasn't just phones, was it? It was Microsoft, it was Qualcomm, it was it was all these other companies that make their chipsets and everything.
So after the election, I'm curious to see if there is an administration change, how quickly will Huawei try to position a Biden administration who would probably a little bit more inclined to let Huawei in, or just because it's
please, it's cold, we need to come back in.
Right. I'd be curious, because maybe, who knows? I mean, I don't even think Biden's aware of it, but there may be people in his administration or people who would come in his cabinet who are aware of this, and they can overturn this. I mean, it really depends on how aggressive Huawei wants to be with an administration.
They start drip feeding them. They'll start drip feeding them. They'll be like, Huawei over there going, please, sir, can we have some more? And
I hope they can get their Google license back.
Yeah.
I hope they do. Because the Mate 40 looks amazing.
Yeah, it's a shame.
We know they've already lost their infrastructure for 5G. Whether Biden comes in and says Huawei are fine or not, no country is going to reverse the reverse and then start again to get all the Huawei stuff back in. So the markets that have already removed it they're never going to get that back.
Yeah.
Ericsson is going to take that. Yeah.
It slows down innovation, what he's done there.
Yeah.
Huawei, they release something that's so good that everyone has to keep up. And their chips even are really, really good. the Kirin processors, and without
Samsung
that
could learn a
competition-
thing or two about that.
Yeah, without that kind of competition, you're letting other companies sort of monopolize that and just keep it a slow progression as opposed to like a fast jump, if you see what I mean.
Right. And then Yar makes a good point too, is if Huawei can leverage Harmony OS and leverage infrastructure and an ecosystem, will the companies like Realme and Oppo and all them start to shift and really kind of like show allegiance to the Chinese government and that their own home markets, and then voluntarily ditch Google or even fork, right? Have Harmony OS devices and Google Play Services devices for different markets. Kind of I think that's a more of a leverage point where they would say, hey, for the US, we will have Google Play Services, but for the rest of the world, we will still have Harmony OS and Huawei driven.
Well, that's just a proverbial fuck you to everyone, that isn't it? To do that, like, because then we'll be like, they've been learning off Samsung. The USA get all the best stuff, and we get shafted again by a smartphone company.
No, I think what's funny is I think they can make it. They may even flip it. They may make the Chinese brand side really more aggressive.
Huawei will not succeed here without Google Play Services. Too many people rely on it.
Yeah.
So
it's
too much of a shift.
It's going to be interesting to see. Yeah, it's going to be interesting in the next 5 years.
It's not like moving from Android to iOS. Like iOS supports everything. It's the same, basically. You can get everything on both. It's completely different moving over to Huawei because you haven't got access to any of that stuff.
But to Troy's point, I agree. It stifles innovation. It's just a real shame because I think if this didn't happen, Huawei could have been. I mean, hell, they were actually going to sell Huawei devices in AT&T stores and at Best Buy. Yes. They actually had phones actually ready to go.
I am glad that they've swerved the waterfall display, though. We've avoided the innovation on that.
Right.
Because as much as I like the Mate, I don't like those like slight curves, fine. But then waterfalls, it's just looking at the phone, green. Not
I'm going to see what Troy. So what's I mean, Troy's probably going to maybe get hands on with the actual seeing the display, that aggressive waterfall. What do you feel about that? I mean, it looks like.
Well, it's the same as the P40 Pro. P40 Pro's got the same thing.
I mean, I think to hold is nicer, but to look at, you're always better off with the flat display, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's my opinion. Comfort plus, but actual display, you don't want the image warped at the edges that much. No. I mean, the Note has a bit of a curve.
Oh, the Notes are so much better than what they were, though.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's not that noticeable. If it's like all the way wrapped around, it's comfortable, but then also it opens the door to ghost touches and other issues like that.
Good luck getting a screen protector for it as well.
Yeah,
right. And cases, they just don't cover the screen just as well. You have some. If you drop it on that actual edge between the spot, like on something, you're gonna crack the screen. Whereas if you have a more flat,
these curves, they're all it's deluxe. There's no functionality. I mean, Motorola did try and make functionality by adding the air triggers with their edge, but even that's not really worth the compromise long term, because how many times are you going to use that?
Have you ever tried the Whitestone domes? The Whitestone dome glass?
I've heard of them. I'd like to try one. No, I haven't.
I've had loads of their stuff. The only problem is for me that they're like £45, and they're expensive and they're difficult to fit, and not difficult as some others, but
I've made a few videos because they used to send me them every year. But this year I bought one for the Note, and I put it on, and the first day, my phone fell down between my car seat and chipped the corner of the glass. That was something like 45 quid.
Oh man!
And a lot of effort applying it. So now I've just got like a TPU one,
right?
Just a plastic one.
Plus, I find on the Samsungs, as much as they like to say the fingerprint scanner works really well, it's better without glass screen protectors on the Samsung phones. Yeah, because theirs isn't optical; it's ultrasonic in it, so it's a bit more intrusive.
Well. The ultrasonic works really well on this. Oops, what's this?
That's our notification.
It's a reminder for your podcast.
Right, yes, our notification
because it started.
It was started. It's actually technically supposed to start 10 minutes from now, but we're in the future because we're awesome, and having Troy on is making our show much better than normal. So we decided to go into the future. We're ahead of ourselves by an hour and a half.
It starts, after I've got a notification saying that shows. I'm already on it. It's fine.
So I even got my notification on my Windows.
Oh, you've got your Lumia.
I got my Lumia. Yeah, it's notifications. That still works. I can look at emails. It's been fun. So I've enjoyed it. My 1520. I'm so excited. I've been messing with it. So camera's still a little dodgy.
Nokia Lumia 1520 in 2020.
Yeah.
I love it.
All good.
I love that.
It's all good, man.
And it still works, except Telegram.
Yeah, Telegram doesn't have a video option.
It does, but it doesn't work. You can see me, but I can just see
Skype
you.
didn't work. It was Skype that didn't work. No, we didn't use Telegram.
Telegram doesn't support video on your
phone. There's no video. Not on Windows Phone. And then, and
Skype didn't work. Yeah.
Skype didn't work. I could see you fine, but I just, for some reason, didn't work. So that's the only shame. But yeah, I've been back down memory lane, and I've got my 1520. Ghost touches and all. Works just like a champ. That's the one thing I remember about this thing. It always had ghost touching. It's just the way the panel was. What are you going to do? So, well, we're at that 1 hour and 10 minute mark, Troy. I'm sure anybody in the chat probably already knows of you, seen your content, and if you haven't, you're doing yourself a disservice. You need to get on it right now. But in case they haven't, and where's the best way to get your content, Twitter handles, all that kind of stuff? What's the best way to engage with your content? Because it's really good. I have to admit, I know good.
I appreciate that.
We're not it, but I realize your content is fantastic. I really think you do a great job.
Yeah, so just go to YouTube and type in "what gear." That's one word. Do you know the name? I didn't tell you about the origins of the name, but I always thought Top Gear was such a good show, and why isn't there a tech show?
I was going to ask you if there was a play on that, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
But cool.
So the dream for the channel was always to be kind of like the tech Top Gear, but it never really panned out that way because I need two other people to do the sort of to argue with about product.
Right.
But what gear? That's one word, and you'll find the reviews. It's mainly smartphone reviews, headphones. Sometimes I do random stuff like smart home stuff. I've got a smart home lighting system which I just done a video on. Loads of cool tech related stuff on there. And if you're a Sony fan, you'd especially like the channel. You're into Sony stuff.
I know a lot of people do because a lot of people on the channel do follow Juan, and they do like to engage with the Sony content because there's not much of that around. So you'll definitely get some traffic. So folks, if you haven't, we're going to make sure we put in the show notes all the content for Troy. We'll make sure he gets on that, and we're going to drive as much traffic as we can to you because we like to support anybody who comes on the show, especially people who are doing right by good content and trying to just do it for the right reasons and just try to provide content to people that really could use it because there's just not a lot of
shoved by the YouTube algorithm.
And we're gonna try to buck that. Oh, and you got a little doggy there.
We are the anti-algorithm team. That's what we're.
Yeah,
we're here to promote the stuff that people should be watching.
Right,
it's a battle. It is a battle. YouTube is.
Yeah, well, like I said, Arglo and Rectangles. Check it out. Honestly, there's some great guys on there, some great content. You'll come across content you've never heard of or seen from people who have got minimum subscribers because nobody promotes them. You know, it's a really good place to just go and find content, share your own content because you can do that there. So if anyone watching this wants to know a little bit more about how to start a tech YouTube channel, ages ago I told you about all the video type stuff that I experimented with and flopped. This is another one of those, but it might actually be useful for some people. It's how to be a tech YouTuber. It's not on my YouTube channel anymore, but it is on my website. So if you go to whatgear.net and go to the tech review section, type in how to be a tech YouTuber. It's got some of the tools that I use, like TubeBuddy and Morning Fame and all this kind of stuff, which will help you and give you some sort of startup tips, I guess. We can put that in the show notes, can't we?
Yeah, we'll put it in the show notes. We'll make sure we get that website as well, and any Instagram or Twitter stuff. We'll make sure we get all that information and definitely put in the show notes. And Troy, we appreciate you taking your time. I know you've got busy with family. It's a Sunday. We had a little bit of an issue with a time change. Apparently, even Matt didn't know about it.
Yeah, no. Well, it confused me. I forget. Like 6 o'clock is actually 7 o'clock, and blah blah blah.
Right.
And guys, Andrew gets married in 5 minutes.
Absolutely.
Congratulations,
So
Andrew.
We are
Yeah.
going to, because we can't be there in person, we are being there virtually.
live streaming on Twitch. So
Yep.
check it out
Because
for
COVID's a
anybody
thing. So,
right.
you know.
Especially where I'm at in Missouri. So that's where he and I both live in the same state. So we're going to do that. So Troy, we really appreciate you taking your time and coming on, and you're more than welcome to come any other time. We'd love to hear more about any other things you got going on and just have a chat. We really
I'll tell
appreciate
you my Stormtrooper story next time when I was a Stormtrooper on Star Wars.
Definitely.
There you
and
go.
we can chat gaming as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, make
And
sure you
hopefully-
add me on Warzone. Add me on Warzone.
Oh, we'll do. I'll send
Absolutely.
you a message after this, and we'll get all the details sorted out.
Absolutely. So that's it for this show. We're glad to have Troy on. He's always welcome to come on, and hopefully it was enjoyable listening to it on the other end. As much as it was talking to Troy, it was great to get to meet you and actually speak
Definitely.
to you. It was awesome.
Nice.
I've been following you a long time. I'm glad we got to do this.
Nice speaking
Absolutely.
to you guys too.
All right. So for myself, for Matt, for Troy, welcome to Across the Pondcast, the best podcast you never heard of. Next Sunday, 3:00 Central Standard Time, 9:00 BST in the UK. For ourselves, for Troy, for the listeners in the show, please be safe, enjoy your tech, and we'll catch you next week. Sunday, be there or don't be there. But if you don't, you're missing out on good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
See you later.
Bye, everybody.